because they might be the person who's trying to lure you in. So it's really kind of like become twofold now as we grew older. As I've grown older, you see society where it's become twofold. You don't pick up hitchhikers and you don't hitchhike.
Yeah. I was thinking about that exact same thing because my mom told me a story about one of her friends. I mean, and this guy was like, you know, at the time, this was, 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. And he was hitchhiking, and I guess he was probably in his late 30s, early 40s, and he got picked up, and the guy, for some reason, you know, drove to where nobody else was, and like, what are you doing? He pulled over and beat him up and took all the money. I'm like, what? That's nuts, you know?
Yeah. When I was a kid, I was 9 years old. I walked to school or rode my bike. I don't know. For a while, I was walking back and forth to school, and it must have been 2 or 3 miles. That was no big deal. And then the Zodiac killer. Do you remember that Zodiac? That happened, right? That was in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it struck fear into everybody. And I'll never forget. Some old man in one of those old cars, kind of oval like 40s car, 50s car, or something like that. I was standing at the signal waiting to cross, and he pulled up next to me. This is during the Zodiac killings. He pulled up next to me and he said, whatever, hey, do you want to ride? I'll take you to school. And then there was a traffic guard, volunteer traffic guard, yelled at me and said, don't get in that car. And I wasn't going to do it anyway. I had a real sense of discernment, so I could hear them, but I was saying to the guy, oh, no, thanks, I'm really close, I'm just fine. But I remember the fear that it terrorized the whole Bay Area because of that guy. And so it was like, you know, this 50s and 60s still had something innocent about them, but then it just started to go downhill, and here we are. But again, back to what Jesus is saying, he prophesied that this would happen. And it's not just in the U.S., it's all over the world. It doesn't matter where you go. It's like insanity has hit the world.
It's like we have an evolution of evil. Just like we have an evolution of man or thing, there's an evolution of evil where it has changed and turned. I read somewhere where it said something about things have turned upside down, and you kind of wonder, just with this evolution of evil, just what is going to be, well, how much more is it going to evolve, and what it's going to be like.
I think, you know, for us, what it comes down to is I love President Reagan always had these great one-liners. He said, trust but verify. Now that had to deal with the Soviets. But I think it's a good rule to live by. Trust but verify. But I think for us, you know, we can't live in fear, and that's where prayer comes in. I think that I pray Psalm 91 over you all, over Maureen and me a lot. That is to me, it's a powerful, powerful spiritual warfare prayer. And I put on the armor of God every morning. And I actually do pray for people at Riverbend and other Christians. I ask God to protect us while we're driving, protect us from sickness, disease, and calamity. Why? Because I believe in the power of prayer and in the coverage of prayer. I'm praying for warring angels. I think I've said to you before, there are times where I might be driving home, see a little kid walking by themselves, and I'll just pray, Lord, set an angel over that little child. Then I might even say, and bring them to faith in Jesus. In other words, yes, I realize what we're dealing with, but I'm not going to just take it sitting down, but I want to go on the offensive and pray a hedge of protection around people. This is where we're at, And then at least he says in verse 13, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. And then verse 14, this gospel of the kingdom, there it is, kingdom of God. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. We're talking about preaching, that's more of a proclamation, a declaration. And then once the proclamation and declaration is made, then the teaching comes in. Now how do you walk it out? So they kind of go hand in hand. But what is Jesus saying? In the midst of all of this, the gospel has to go forward. It can't stop because there's a war. It can't stop because there's a pandemic. It can't stop because all hell breaks loose throughout the world. It has to continue. And, thank God for technology, the internet, and radio, and television, and all those things where the gospel still can go out. Even like in my case, I've been limited. I can't just get on the plane and go fly to Kenya or Uganda, and that happens with a lot of others as well. So let's stop here and take a break. Do you all need a break?
Yeah.
5 minutes or so? Yeah.